It's a complex world out there.
It seems to take forever.
There is disappointment, which is natural.
Resilience is about hope.
Most of our ideas come from just listening.
Ask a courageous question.
It feels good to be able to do something positive for people.
You are a force multiplier.
Welcome to Watching Trees Grow, a podcast by Troutwood. I'm Gene Natali, co-founder and CEO of Troutwood. Today's episode, I'm going to be joined by my co-founder, Jeff Davidek, our chief strategist. We're specifically talking about a new product release, Buy, Sell, Hold. Jeff, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, Gene.
Well, and Jeff, for anyone who's saying, wait, what's Buy, Sell, Hold? I'm going to turn the table right to you. This was your idea from a very early stage in Troutwood. What is Buy, Sell, Hold, and why did we build it?
So Buy, Sell, Hold is a really fun, really quick game that helps people understand exactly how investing works versus choosing not to invest. And it also is a nice playground for people to try to navigate some of the emotions that happen when people are investing. We want to help the players learn some of the biggest pitfalls to avoid and also some of the biggest opportunities to catch.
Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about the data points that we built Buy, Sell, Hold off of? So is this an arbitrary game where, good luck, fist bump, and hey, it was all make-believe, or is there more to it?
There's a lot more to it. And one of the reasons we were inspired to make this game is that too often compound interest is taught in this idea that the market just goes up 8 or 10 or 12% every year. We know real life is not like that, and that it's often a roller coaster. So when we created Buy, Sell, Hold, we used close to 100 years of real financial market data points so that the user has a chance to go along for that ride and see what happens.
Well, and Jeff, we simplify this message. So for anyone who is saying, I'm curious, I'm learning about investing in a class, you'll see our mascot, Finn. Finn is the little green leaf that you see across Troutwood's website and our various tools. And Finn challenges you immediately with a competitive statement. Can you beat me? Jeff, is it easy to beat Finn? Does Finn have any tricks up Finn's sleeve?
So while we don't collect users' personal data, we do keep track of the game statistics. And I can tell you that in more than 10,000 play sessions, less than 2% of the players beat Finn. So that's motivation to go out and give Buy, Sell, Hold a try.
Well, and Jeff, I am smiling because the simplicity of the game, the beauty of the design, it's a fast playthrough. You can play a complete cycle in 30 to 60 seconds. And that simplicity should not diminish from the very powerful learning outcome. And the data that you just shared, I think, hints at what that learning outcome is. Should we share, Jeff, with the Troutwood community what Finn's line is represented by, what Finn's score is?
I don't know. Should we?
I think we should. I think when you put that in the context, only 2% in 10,000 plays have beat Finn. I feel comfortable saying Finn's score is represented by the market. So Jeff had earlier in this episode mentioned that we compiled 100 years of data. Well, that to me is really interesting, because in theory, I can tie Finn every play. And I'll stop there. I won't go deeper on the trick. I want to share with the Troutwood community, particularly educators, parents, grandparents. I play at home with my kids. They love it. They love trying to beat Finn. I, as a father, appreciate seeing their average score get higher and higher as they very subtly are learning how to be an investor.
And that's something that I think is important to talk about. So Gene and I, prior to starting Troutwood, we spent almost 2 decades working with billion-dollar plus clients, some of the largest, most sophisticated institutional investors in the world. And one of the things that really inspired us to do this and to work with young people and students on investing is that the average institutional investor has a return that is 4 or 5 or even 6% a year better than the typical individual, even though they have access by and large to the exact same types of investments in the market. So why do individuals underperform so badly? Why aren't they getting ahead like institutional investors with their money? And I think this game helps answer that question in a way that is maybe surprising.
Jeff, I'm going to take a stab at answering that question also. And in my opinion, it's because institutions figured out something that some individuals have figured out, but not nearly the majority. And quite simply, it's that investing is a long-term relationship. You know, it's more likely to meet yours and my Troutwood users' expectations if we stick with it. Unfortunately, we live in a world where, you know, you can see the Instagram influencer, social media influencer bragging about a 10% return trading stocks because that's a big deal and it says they know what they're doing. That's not investing. We want to really ingrain that concept of the future is unpredictable, but over the long term will be positive. You know, when we first realized we had something with buy, sell, hold, two things happened I want to share with our community. The first, Jeff, I remember on a Saturday getting a phone call from one of our developers, Dorian Brown. And Dorian is just pumped. He is excited. He said, Gene, I'm playing buy, sell, hold with some friends right now. I said, Dorian, that's awesome. How's it going? He said, Gene, it's amazing. Like, you should hear what some of our scores are. Like, they're really big. I said, Dorian, what's their pulse? Like, what are you seeing right now as you're watching this? He says, I see excitement, Gene. Like, they're seeing that this is how investing works. That was one. Dorian, the excitement in his voice on that Saturday morning was palpable. And the fact that he was playing with friends on a Saturday morning. The second, no surprise, Jeff, you and I both teach collegiate personal finance. We talk about that regularly in the podcast. I have my students at the University of Pittsburgh play buy, sell, hold every week. Takes under a minute to do it. Boom. Sometimes I pick the cycle. We've played the Great Depression. You know, we played 1939 a couple class periods ago. Last week was random. Every week it's a different cycle. But the reason we do that is repetition. Maybe after one playthrough, students don't believe it's possible. Maybe after 5 playthroughs, they don't believe it's possible, even though their average score is increasing. But as we stick with it, I know this firsthand from talking with students, they do believe it. And so that, educators, is our challenge. Play this game weekly. Stick with it. Think of fun assignments, and we'll be adding some on our own, but think of fun assignments to put around buy, sell, hold, but then link it to things like, hey, student ABC, when you open your Roth IRA, you know, maybe this is an approach to consider. When you open your 401k, this is an approach to consider. I'm just going to give a little more context on some of the behind the scenes on buy, sell, hold, because when you start the game, you can choose $1 a day, $5 a day, or $10 a day. I hope that by me saying that right there, we removed a lot of the fear of like, okay, wait, this is a manageable dollar amount. I can come up with $1 a day. And by I mean, you know, any student in America right now. The $10 a day is a little bit scientific on our part. We took the average starting salary and the average 401k match. And that came out to a $5 a day contribution by the individual, the employee, and a $5 contribution from the company via the company match. Those are concepts that we'll talk about in further podcast episodes. I'd also point you to the Finglish section of our YouTube page or website, which has short summaries of some of these terms if you are unfamiliar with them. I say that because when you play the $10 a day, if you don't believe the very large numbers that you see at the end, know that that was the science behind picking them. And I hope that makes you, I hope that helps you understand that they are achievable numbers. So Jeff, I was going to share the 2 most powerful lessons from buy, sell, hold as we wind down here. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Yeah, I think you absolutely should share those 2 lessons.
All right. So as you now get ready to download, to play the game, here are the 2 secrets. And these are secrets we want you to apply, not just in buy, sell, hold, but also in real life, in your 401ks and your Roth IRAs. Those 2 secrets. The first, buy early and buy often. And the second, consider risk as you near the end of the game, which translating that into real life as you near the end of your career. Buy, sell, hold. It's simple. It's powerful. Give it a try. Thank you for tuning in to Watching Trees Grow, a podcast by Troutwood.